All right, now we can tell the safe for the show version of these stories.
Yeah, and then I have to tell a few stories that happened, but leave the names out for the famous people. So.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start there then. We're going to be all over the place. Hey, it's after dark, 4:55. I went to a Airbnb in the Poconos, and it was fine. There was too many goddamn people in the house.
Right. So
there's
nothing.
There's
else?
my weekend.
There's no. Oh my God. So, but were you trapped like nice house on a lake? That's all I care about.
No, I was not trapped. I could go out. I just chose not to a bunch.
Yeah. So, but go ahead.
No, but you had the big adventure this past weekend, unless you had a question for me about the Airbnb.
No, I care not for Airbnb. So
it wasn't my decision. It was my brother got the house.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, do you guys want to come up too?" And then like this one and that one and this one. And again, when I do the gazintas, there was a total of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 people in the house.
Right.
Too many people.
Yeah, way too many people.
There's 4 bedrooms, but it's like it was a whole thing. I ended up like at one point like sleeping on the couch.
Right.
Just to kind of get away from the noise and the rabble rousing, because it was like a lot of like younger kids, like preteen kids.
Right.
And then my aunt was one of the people that was there. And listen, I ain't paying the bill. We cut our check, our share of whatever it ended up being. But like she put the air conditioning on in the house at 62.
That's my kind of person.
All right, that's a little too cold for me. I'm good like 70,
I'm good at whatever you just before meat freezes.
Right. And then, they had a nice big backyard, nice fire. It was, we drove, but it was like you could have walked to where the lake was from where we were.
Right.
The kids had a good time at the lake. We just happened to be there one of the days where they did Christmas in July.
Oh, cool.
And they did like a whole Santa gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a DJ there playing Christmas music, and he ran out of Christmas music after about 6 songs.
What? Well, there are only 6 Christmas songs, so...
Right.
Then it's just different versions of them, that's all.
You hear the Wham Christmas song in July, your year's over.
Well, you're living at that point.
I guess. But like I said, it was a fun time. If it was my choice, maybe I'd get a smaller house and not have
as many
10 other people in it with me.
There you go.
But it never is my choice. So, you had a busy weekend, Todd.
Yep. I went to Terrificon in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun Casino. So I went with the definitive Colonel Sanders artist. He had a room. So we went, the con was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we went Thursday night because he had the room Thursday into Friday morning. And then he added, obviously, Friday into Saturday, Saturday into Sunday. And he even had it Sunday into Monday if he wanted. So we could have stayed and left in the morning. But he's like, I want to get home. The con ends at 5. So like a 4-hour trip. I could be home to put the kids to bed, kind of a deal. I don't understand that. I would want another day away from kids. But
the hotel was part of the convention center?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. The hotel was connected right to the casino.
Cool.
So everything was right there. You had to walk a bit from the, not much. I would say maybe 200-300 yards from the elevator to the convention center itself. So yeah, it was all one big, happy thing. So it's like if I wanted to go back, it was like if I wanted to go back to the room for anything or needed anything or we forgot anything, it was just a 5-minute trip back up the elevators and back down, and we were good to go. So that I really liked. And then they had tons of restaurants and things to do. So we didn't have to leave. There were so many places to eat. We could have stayed there like Thursday into Friday all the way to Monday and never ate at the same place twice.
Now, I ask this only because you would put some pictures of some dismal food that you had purchased there. Pizza, fine, whatever. I'm not a pepperoni guy. But knowing you What are you doing with a bagel like that?
So, the only places that I could find for breakfast, obviously they had a Krispy Kreme. They had a couple of Krispy Kremes in the casino. Most of them were what would you call them? They're just little shops, you know what I mean? Like quick ones. And then they had a big, where they actually made them too on site. So I was like, okay, I could get a thing in the morning. Then they had a couple of bigger breakfasts, and everybody was like, if you want a big breakfast, go to this place. And all I could really find, I didn't look hard, there was a little coffee bistro, just like a stand right off the elevator. And it had breakfast sandwiches and muffins and bagels. But the bagels were straight up bagels that were just probably in a plastic bag bought at a store somewhere.
Right.
But they had a lot of them. I will say this, with bagels are like pizza. There's almost no terrible tasting bagel or pizza unless it's Wegmans. And then the bagels are amazing at Wegmans. It's the pizza that sucks. So I was like, okay, I'll eat these unless I can find something, because we're not leaving. I'm not leaving the casino to go find something. Right. So I ate that the first day, and then I was like, this is really bland. So I went in for the everything bagels the rest of the morning, and they were much better. So yeah, those are what I had. There was another place in there that did have a bagel, but in the website it said every week or every month the bagel. It's like the bagel of the month, and I never got there because their hours were weird. They closed at 1, and I already had my bagel in the morning, so I was like, oh, I'll go over later. But helping Tom, I always ended up forgetting, and it was after 1, and I never went to see what the bagel of the week was.
Okay.
So that was my bagel stories. Though the pizza was really good. Me and Josh have had when we went last time. It's like Pepe of something pizza in there, and they have a couple restaurants that I saw along the way on the highway, off the highway. But that was super amazing. As everybody says that saw the pictures, that it was real greasy. Like the pepperoni was the greasy pepperoni kind, big, thick, juicy. I was like, I like this, and we got a pizza so big that me and Tom couldn't finish it. So we had some in the middle of the night later.
Oh, so okay. I was going to say, you're not trying hard enough.
No, that's but I think me and you may have talked off mic that my appetite is much smaller than it used to be once I turned a certain age. But I did what I could to down all the pizza I could.
Good.
And then the other night we had Chinese from a Chinese I wouldn't call it a food, it was more of a food court Chinese place. It wasn't a sit down restaurant. You could get it to go.
Yeah, okay.
You could get it to sit down and eat, but it was all you. It's like you just pick it up at the counter and sit. And I did not care for the chicken and broccoli on that. It was kind of spicy, even though it was chicken and broccoli. It was very peppery. And I don't think the broccoli was cooked the best way, but I ate it. But the shrimp fried rice was really good, had egg in it and everything. But between me and Tom, we both got one order of chicken and broccoli each, and one order of fried rice. Me shrimp, him chicken, 2 Diet Cokes. It was a Coke town, so I was out of my mind.
Oh, the best town.
Right. Fuck you, by the way. Guess how much all that cost?
Give me the run. 2 Cokes,
two small bottles of Coke, 2 things of shrimp fried rice, and 1 shrimp fried rice, 1 chicken fried rice, and 2 orders of chicken with broccoli.
$50.
Go higher.
Woo! No, thank you. 60.
Go higher.
75.
Go a little higher.
80.
80 some in there.
Jesus Christ.
Everything, all the tray of pizza with pepperoni was $30 some. But and the one thing, that's why when we got the bagels in the morning, the bagels were smaller, but they were $3.20 something with cream cheese.
That's not bad.
Right, a bagel here for me from my bagel place is $2.84 with cream cheese. Don't ask me how I know that. And a bagel with a bottle of soda, Pepsi, because that's a good place, is $5.25. So I was like, yeah, but I enjoyed the food, but we like stayed away. They had like a Michael Jordan steakhouse, which was a little too much for me.
Okay.
Because that was super expensive. But like I said, they got you. So, but
that's an opportunity.
Right, but the big opportunity that I ran was, so me and Tom, we get there, and it was an interesting ride down, let's say. So I needed a drink when I got there. I was having a day, so I needed a drink when I got there. So we sit down and we're like looking for a bar because it's like 11 o'clock. Like the bars are open, but I'm also looking behind the bar to see what they have. Some bars had more of a selection than other, and then I see this bar and it's got honey Jim Beam. I'm like, they're gonna have ginger ale. This is what I want. Tom had some stuff with a tooth. He had surgery, so he couldn't drink. So he's like, I'll just get a ginger ale. I'll sit with you. So we sit down and we're like, I'll have a Jim Beam honey. You'll have a ginger ale. She brings them over, and and in front of us are the Joker poker machines that have like 20 different. You can play blackjack, you play baccarat, whatever you want. And she goes, so, are you playing or are you buying the drinks? And I said, machines take cash? And she's like, yeah. I said, okay, because I had cash. I wasn't putting my card in. She goes, yeah. I said, okay. So I put a 5 in, and Tom put a 5 in. And we played. And, I lost, and the drinks were free. So I asked her, I said, how much for, like, if I didn't play? And she's like, the tab for the two of you together would have been $15.
That's a lot for you, him getting a ginger ale. All right.
Right. So whatever. But I have a feeling it might have been like $2, $3, and mine was like $12. So any drink that I would have, I would just like bring me a drink over. All right, that's a $12 drink. You playing? Yeah, I'll put a 5 in the machine. Because it wouldn't take a 1. It would only take a 5.
Okay.
So I looked at it as the drink's over $12-ish. I could put a 5 in the machine. I have a chance at winning. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the money's going either way, I might as well put the 5 in and try to win some money. And so I was getting like $8 off my drinks. Or whatever. You know the math. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good opportunity.
Yeah, so I was running that opportunity whenever I had a drink at the casino.
Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah.
$30 for your pizza.
Yeah.
The onion pizza?
Yeah.
$11.25 a tray.
I know.
All right.
But like I said, we were kind of like the casino drive. It's like in the middle of nowhere. So like, I know I saw that there was like Turkey Hills. There was probably Chinese food, but I was like, I'm going to eat there. Yeah. And I'll say this, Joe, I won't ever say Tom's business.
All right.
Like down to the penny. But Tom beat all 4 days of New York on Friday at the con.
Good for him.
So everything after that was gravy. So he's like, we'll stay here. You know what I mean? So
the fact that he got the whatchamacallit, I'm assuming that he got the hotel as part of his deal. Just that alone.
Right? Like I didn't ask him that. I'm guessing, but that was none of my business. So
right.
But it was like he had good. Like that was good. The con is great. Lots of great stuff at the con. It was big. They have a big convention center. What I liked about the place, because I had like a badge from him to help out, was that they treated the comic guests as well as they treated the media guests.
That's always a big thing.
Green room was the same for both. So when I went in to get a drink for Tom or me, it doesn't matter because I got the guest pass.
Coke, of course.
Coke, they had Diet Coke, Sprite, water, coffee, fruit cups, granola bars, chips. They had other, like it wasn't like they had a buffet in there, but it was a lot better than any other. They had other stuff too, coffee, tea, better than any convention that's Tom has been to and I've helped at. Water, whatever. And the bathrooms, like, were right there. It was curtained off. So, like, you go in, you can go to the bath. Like, you don't have to share the bathrooms because you're in a hurry. You know what I mean? You got to get back to your table. And I'm sitting in there. And, like, I'd go in for a minute and I'd get, and they brought hoagies for lunch and everything for all the guests and stuff like that. So that was nice. And they did like a nice gift bag with it. It was like, oh, here's the hoagie, here's a drink, here's, candy, here's a breath mint in case, whatever afterwards. And there was other stuff in there. And I'm sitting in the green room just having my water, waiting to go back out and take Tom his. And I look over and I'm like, there's Jerry O'Connell. There's Rebecca Romaine. There's Jonathan Frakes, a.k.a., Riker from Star Trek. There's Michael Biehn.
Hey!
I'm going down the list, and I'm like, and I'm sitting amongst them. And I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? You know what I mean?
The security didn't come and put a curtain around you.
Yeah, right. But it was really cool because everybody was nice. I said hi to a few people, but I was like, they're on their break. I'm not going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One or two, I bumped into Jerry O'Connell. Like he turned around and bumped into me. I was like, oh, hey, Mr. O'Connell, big fan.
Hey,
I was like,
so I have to ask, because you got the Mark picture with them.
Right. That I didn't even ask for because he was in the thing. He's just like, I'm like, oh, big fan. Love Sliders, one of the greatest sci-fi shows of all time. You probably get that all the time. He goes, no, I don't get Sliders a lot. I go, well, that's because I'm old. You know what I mean? I loved it. And he goes, well, I'm old too. And I said, you're as handsome as the day you were on Sliders, right? And he kind of cocked his eyebrow, right? And he goes, oh, thanks and everything. I said, yeah, I really did love it. It was one of my favorite sci-fi shows. He goes, you're a big fan. He goes, do you want a picture? So can we take a selfie? And I just
want to interrupt you and say he was not on the guest list on the website.
He wasn't.
So I'm wondering, and again, listen, I have heard nothing but good stories about Jerry O'Connell. He's got a good reputation of being a good guy, period. There's been so many stories I've heard of the celebrity doing this bit, and then all right, that'll be $40 after. No. He was in the green room and he did it. And he was like, oh, let's take a picture. So, Joe, do you know how many selfies I've taken in my time? Including this one from this past week?
Yes.
I'd say 2.
Probably right,
All right.
So, selfie taken. Now, how many selfies have I controlled the camera? 0 up to this point.
Okay.
So I take the selfie and I take it and I'm like, oh, thank you very much. He goes, no, give me that phone. He goes, that's a terrible shot. He goes, that's looking up our noses. He's like, here, let me show you how to take one. He's like, you take the angle like this, and he smiled. And he's like, let me take 5 of them. He's like, bing, boom, boom. He's like, looking through them. He's like, they're all good. He's like, you cool with that? And I'm like, good.
I love it.
He's like, he wasn't mean about it. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not taking it as mean, but this is a guy who has done this. You're talking about how many times have I taken a selfie? Maybe 2. How many times have I taken a selfie with my own camera? 0. Todd, how many times do you think Jerry O'Connell has taken a selfie?
Many, 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 many times.
How many times do you think Jerry O'Connell has taken a selfie with somebody else's camera?
0?
Millions of times. Because
I thought you meant him controlling it. I'm sorry.
No, of him controlling it, because you took the picture and he immediately is like, nope, I know you did that wrong, so I need to take this picture. I'm not doing it in a mean way, but I guarantee you all it took for one time that person takes that picture and it's fucked up, or Jerry looks weird, or the person posted and says oh, Jerry O'Connell did whatever, right? So now he knows, nope, I know how to hold the camera. I can tell if they're holding the camera wrong. I know to take multiple pictures, because one ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not wasting their film. He's a pro, is what I'm saying. Right.
No, I get you. So I'm going to send you the picture on the phone that I sent, Joe. Yeah, he did that, and he's like, okay. I said, well, I don't want to bother you. You know what I mean? You're in the green room. And he's like, no, it's all good. And as I turn over, I see Rebecca Romaine sitting at the table.
Tom.
What?
What are you doing with this picture?
There's
more of the ceiling in the picture than the two of yous. But
I I was so nervous. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm with you. I'd be the same way. But in retrospect, if I can't laugh at you, then who can I laugh at?
No, I'm not. I'm upset. No more podcasts ever. So that happens, right? So then I turn and now you do know Jerry O'Connell's with Rebecca Romaine, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why he was there. He was, you know what I mean? And I see Rebecca Romaine. She's not talking to anybody. And I just said, oh, by the way, big fan of yours. You haven't seen Strange New Worlds, but I was like, and this is when my brain snaps. I'm like, I've stayed too long. I need to get out of this quick. And I'm like, oh, love you on the show. You're amazing. Love everything you've done. Love Strange New World. Love the episode where did the speech that ended up becoming the poster. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. And she goes, oh, I know exactly what you mean. I said, it was brilliant. Loved it. You're good on it. I'm going to leave. I'm going to shut up now and leave. And she smiled and was like, and I left. I was like, and I said at that point, I will not talk to anybody else in the green room again. You know what I mean?
Aww.
Well, I didn't want to be like walking in and if I hadn't bumped into Jerry O'Connell,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? And we started talking, I probably wouldn't have even like bothered anybody in the green room. But that being said about Jerry, while Rebecca had her line for her photo ops and or signatures, Jerry was working the whole line. The whole time. Hi, what are you doing? Here, would you like a selfie? How are you? You're here to see Rebecca. Oh, yeah. That's great. Whatever. I didn't hear every interaction, but you know what I mean? And he'd go up and down and talk to everybody in the line while they're waiting to keep them. I'm not saying entertained, but not bored. You know what I mean? And he'd go back up to the front. And if somebody wanted a picture with him and Rebecca, because he wasn't on the thing, it was like, okay, you let him join it. You know what I mean? And I was like, they were the absolute best, Joe. The absolute best.
And listen, I'll argue and say Jerry O'Connell's a big star.
Yeah, oh, he is.
So, like, they very easily could have done the double opportunity.
Right.
Where, like, he gets a payday, she gets a payday for doing the signings and everything else like that. And for him to be like, she's on the hot show right now. Maybe he ain't got nothing going on right now. Which, again, listen, he
has a talk show with a couple other people.
Okay, so see, I don't even know what he's up to, but is that talk show bigger than Star Trek?
Let me put it this way, because I will never pit, people who are in a relationship with their career against each other. But which show's bigger at a comic book convention?
There you go.
That's the one. Though he could have sat there on Slider's name alone. You know what I mean?
He could have sat there on Stand By Me name alone. He could have, you know what I mean? Like, I could list off all the things that he's done, right?
Right. Plus, like, when you have people, I think it was Laura from Luke and Laura on General Hospital was one of the people.
Oh, boy.
You know what I mean? Like, you could be, I was on Sliders, I was on this, whatever. But he was just doing his thing. And, like I said, he asked for his Mark photo with me, so which I was not putting in the Twitter caption or X caption or whatever.
Hey, you do you, pal.
Because I'll tell you a little something after that too. But
save that for the Discord, right?
Right, the Discord. Right. Right. So, do you want to hear any more about? Because I do have a thing about Discord when we get back.
Finish. I'll pencil it in here. Finish the rest of your convention experience. Did you run into my good friend Ethan Page?
Yes, I did.
All right.
And I went over to him, and because it was one of those things that now, joking around, whatever. I'm helping Tom too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'd look over and I'd see he'd have a line. Yeah, I'm not going over then. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the right time. Yeah. Then I'd see, he's on break, which I'm like, this might be the right time. But then they had a curtain behind him, and he'd go behind the curtain with the guy who was helping him. So he's gone. You know what I mean? And it just never worked out until Sunday before the con opened. I saw him leaning on the table. Nobody had come in to get a photo op or a signature yet. or wasn't able to, if you get my meaning. So that's when I was like, all right, Tom, you got this set up. You need to do anything before the con opens? No. That's when I went over and I'm like, hey, I called him Ethan. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, Ethan, somebody told me to give you their regards. And he's like, oh, who? I said, Joe Spost. He's like, oh, Joe. Tell him I said hi. I said, how do you know him? I said, I do a comic book podcast. And he goes, oh, Longbox.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, Longbox. And then he told me to tell you something. I'll tell you about Mike.
All right, I'll write that down too.
Right. So, no, he was really cool. But it was one of those that and then I gave him a way too strong handshake, Joe.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was so upset because I did it. I walked over and he did the hand. You know, like when you're going to go shake somebody's hand and somebody pulls their hand like away so they can come at you faster to shake your hand?
Yes.
That's what we did. So when we did, I matched that, not realizing that it would tell him I worked stiff.
Oh, boy.
So I never got to give him the worker handshake. And I think that is my greatest, mistake
regret
of my life. Well,
yes.
Regret. It is up there with one of my greatest regrets. One is almost actually dying one time and not doing the worker handshake. So I was like, okay, when we talk, not talk much, but he was like, okay, and this and that. And I was like, well, I'll let you, get back. And I saluted Daniel Housen and I left. So. Because I didn't know if you knew him too, or if you knew who was the other guy?
Wardlow.
Wardlow.
Yes, I don't know Wardlow,
but I wasn't going to stand next to him because
yeah, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to stand next to him and get the full body shot.
Right.
To expose how short he is.
But it was really weird. They had him standing in a hole at the convention.
Oh, son of a bitch!
So
isn't that always the way?
Right. So we did that. So the only other story I have is an angry either Jersey or New Yorker that I saw on the floor.
Yeah, they're both the same.
Right. Now, let me just say this. Con's great. You know what I mean? But certain creator, who's a well-known creator, is has his sign up for what he's doing for. Now, I didn't catch all of this. So, if I got bits and pieces. The creator's like, this is what I'm doing for signatures. This is what I'm doing for witness signatures. This is what I'm doing for this. Whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm taking that money that I normally charge, and I'm giving it all to the Heroes Initiative.
All right.
Says that on the placard, So the guy comes up, and all I hear is, what? $20? A $20 donation to Heroes Initiative. You can't tell me how much to donate to Heroes Initiative. And the guy's helper is like, no, we're not telling you to donate that. That's his fee. Then he's donating it. I was willing to go $5, but you can't tell me what I should be able to donate. And now I can only hear him because the helper isn't screaming. You know what I mean?
Right. When you're in a conversation with someone like that, you, as the person who is being yelled at, you try to usually speak lower in the hopes that they bring their voice down to match your tone. But again, these New York, New Jersey people, I tell you. Right.
So this person is yelling, and the guy's like, well, no, it's not me. It's on the placard. And he's picking up the placard. And he's like, see, it says here. And he's like, don't put that in my face. Don't almost touch me. Don't.
Oh, my God.
Right now, the creator is just like swatting the helper's hand in a nice way. You know what I mean? Like, put that down. We'll take this and let's let this end, kind of a deal. And the guy, and now the helper's getting hot. You know what I mean? And then he goes, what? I'm not flipping. And he I guess, because I was doing like the Chewbacca, I was guessing what the helper was saying by what the guy was yelling back. And he goes, I don't care about charging more for CGC, because sometimes people flip. You don't know what I'm doing with this book. It shouldn't matter to you what I'm doing with this book. And that's when my brain goes, well, you don't mind paying, you don't mind kicking extra to certify a signature. You don't mind paying some nameless corporation, CGC, extra money but you don't want to give. You want to pay $30 to have it certified, but you don't want to give any extra to the creator. Screw him. You know what I mean? So finally, the helper goes, okay, and he got a little hot, and he goes, all right, just get out of here. And he goes, don't disrespect me like that. Like, what the fuck are you doing disrespecting me? I'm just trying to do business here. I'm like, oh, when did this become a business, right? So now this guy starts eyeballing me. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you going to do to me standing on the floor? And he's like, huh. Like, and I'm like, just keep walking. You know what I mean? Like, and he left, but he left with the witnesser and everything. You know what I mean?
So how close to you and Tom's table was this going on? Like right next to it?
Pretty close, but I don't want to give too much away because you can look at the map. So what I'm saying
is like you're trying to like you're trying to nonchalantly listen or follow or whatever. But obviously at some point this gentleman catches your gaze and decides now he's got a beef with you.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, an awkward situation just got more awkward. So my question is, just even in the time that you're telling the story, where's convention security for this gentleman?
There was staff around, but I didn't see anybody at this point.
Okay. I just wondered, a guy making a scene like this, using the language that you're saying that he's using, maybe threatening some of the people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
He could have escorted him out of the building at that point.
Right. So
I'd say as a convention, you were well within your rights.
Yep. But then we found out next year's date was the same for Terrificon as San Diego.
Oh, really?
Then this day, like as we record this, I found out that they moved Terrificon, I guess.
So it's not against San Diego?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm trying to think what else. No other celebrity incidents, no other celebrity sightings or anything else like that.
Jonathan Frakes, who was he's Riker on Star Trek Next Generation.
Right.
So I was sitting in the green room, and this guy comes in and starts talking to Jonathan Frakes. And he's like, oh, this and that. And I don't even know what he's talking about. But he's talking with him for 6 minutes. This old guy. And Jonathan's like, oh, and he starts getting up to like get a coffee, and the guy's following him. And then the guy's trying to take a selfie, and Jonathan Frakes is trying to help, but he has it all screwed up. So he ends up, the old guy's like, can you take a picture? And I kind of look at Jonathan Frakes like, I'm not part of this. Do you know what I mean? Like
I'm an uninvolved third party.
Right. So he kind of gives me the nod. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Take it. And I go, here, like I took it, and he's like, thanks. And Jonathan had to leave. And as I left too, and I'm on the floor, and he's like, thank you for taking that picture. I said, yeah, I didn't want to bother you, while you were out and you're, doing your thing. But he just asked me to take it. And when you gave me the nod, I was like, I'll do it. And he's like, yeah, thank you. And I said, love Star Trek The Next Generation. I love like the episodes and stuff you've directed. Really good. He goes, oh, thank you. That means a lot. What's your name? And I'm like, my name's Todd. He goes, oh, Todd, nice to meet you. I'm Jonathan. And I looked at him, and I'm like, yeah. Like, what am I? I'm not a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, like kind of cool, but thank you. Nice meeting. He's like, yeah, thank you for all your help.
Okay. So I'll say this, right? So I'm sure the reason he said that, and again, I'm putting words in his mouth, okay? Words? No, listen, I haven't heard from Words in a couple of weeks. I got to touch base with them, maybe on Thursday. But anyway, I'm assuming many people that are coming to meet him probably call him Mr. Frakes.
Right.
Or call him Riker, whatever. But they probably call him Mr. Frakes. He's he's older than you, older than me. Many of the people coming to the thing are probably his contemporaries, and it's an honorific to show somebody like that respect, right? Mm-hmm. I think by him saying, oh, my name's Jonathan, that's him giving the okay to you to call him that as opposed to Mr. Frakes.
Right. Fair enough.
That's the way I read that interaction.
But like, I didn't say, like, I just nodded. It wasn't like I'm doing the sound for you. I was just like, yeah, yes, you know, okay, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't, because you don't know what to say that. I think he was being gentlemanly and nice, but it's funny to me. Do you know what I mean? But I also think it's you know, he's humble, you know, saying, like, I'm Jonathan, not like, oh yeah, you know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just, like, you laughed a little bit. You get what I'm saying, you know?
I get what you're saying.
It's just cool. It was just cool. And then after that, everybody else was just like, you know, I talked to various comic creators and stuff like that. So, but otherwise, an uneventful, like, you know, thing. If they'll have Tom back, he'll go, and hopefully I didn't do anything to ruin that, you know.
No scoops or skinny on some upcoming projects that we're not allowed to talk about that you can talk about here?
No, nobody. I did not ask any questions. No interviews, no nothing. Though Tom, I believe, got interviewed for a couple of podcasts.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah. Can you believe there were podcasters there asking questions? It was amazing.
It doesn't sound like something they would do.
Right. So
last but not least, wrapping this up, of course, because you left the house, and it has to be a noted occasion. You had a question about Discord. You had a remark about Discord.
Yeah, I need to, because you know how I overthink things, Joe?
Yeah.
I need to know what goes in each rooms, because it's starting to, the water's getting muddy.
Okay.
Oh, and the other question that I have is, can I start a room?
Yeah.
Okay, I can. Like, I can make a room?
I think so. Okay,
I don't know if it had to be DeWicki, because he kind of created the Discord. You know what I mean? Like...
okay, so at the very least, I know, like, I have the ability, because he did pass that along to me.
Okay.
When you
I have the ability. That's all that matters.
Well, let me see if you have the ability. Well, you have the ability through me.
Right, that's what I mean.
Right. So I'm just looking here. Okay, so when you're doing it from your phone, do you have your phone out?
Yes, I have my phone in my hand. I know that people love these live Discords. Not a sponsor.
Listen, this is the tech portion of the show. You're the tech guy, right?
Right.
So, you know when you go in initially and the thing in the upper left-hand corner is like your 3 lines or whatever, and you touch that and it opens up all the different channels?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see at the top where it says text channels?
Yep.
Is there a little plus next to the word text channels?
Yes, there is.
Touch that plus.
Gotcha.
And then you can make yourself a new channel. That's what the rooms are called, channels.
Oh, okay. I'm calling them rooms. Fair enough.
I call them rooms as well. Whatever. But that's how you do it. I just wanted to see if you were able to do it, because I know that I could do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if everybody can do it. Now there'll be 1,000 rooms in here.
Other than that, you know, I say what goes in what rooms is kind of sort of up to you reading the room. You know, unfortunately, like, wrestling stuff is permeating itself into all of the rooms because a lot of wrestling stuff.
Yeah, that should be a hard and fast rule.
Well, so like, a lot of times what it is like the stuff that is discussed on those particular shows, like the Japanese wrestling stuff is going to typically be talked about in the We Need Wrestling channel, because that's what Brett and DJ talk about.
Right, and they'll let the expert Adam come over occasionally.
Right, specific lists of stuff or things that came up on the show, or Tim or Marcus will start something in the Final Wrestling Place TNM shows one, and then again, you know, if Double J does something or if LA Knight does something, you know, that's gonna go to the At Odds thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is keep that filth out of the Longbox Heroes one.
I
keep that filth out.
I do what I can, you know?
But yeah, and then there's a certain one that I almost accidentally posted greasy pizza in.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been okay too.
Right. Now, is that all just wrestling grease, or is that all around grease?
It's all around grease. Wherever you find grease, it's there.
Right. Because I can deal in everyday grease. Now, I will say, if there's one thing that I can tolerate, it's wrestling grease. But all around Greece, I'm a card-carrying Greece member. You know what I mean?
Well, are you a member of the Council of Greece? Is the most important thing?
I don't know. I would have to get the okay from the leader being on the Council of Greece.
Yeah. The Greece impresario.
Yes. I might be one of his consigliaries. I don't know. I'm the consigliere of Greece. Yeah. He's the kingpin. So, but yeah, that's kind of, I was like, oh, because I would be aghast if I got anything in our Discord wrong, you know?
Right. You'll be fine. I think, no one's going to give you a hard time. And again, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it, but like Pee Wee Herman passed away this week as we're recording.
That was truly sad, man.
Yeah. And then there was arguments of whether or not it should be in general or TV and movies.
And then there was all the people who were mad that they didn't get to divulge the information first. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. But nobody did the doll thing, so the picture.
I see now. So here's how this works. You said it. When we're done recording, it's going to be in the Discord.
Listen. That anytime a professional wrestler passes away, right. I demand that's the one time you can post in the Longbox Heroes Discord wrestling stuff is that picture, because I know me and Joe feel equally strong about that. I'm not saying we feel the same. I'm just saying we feel equally the same amount with this stuff.
So would the Pee Wee one be him going to other dead celebrity heaven? Or would he be going to like the Pee Wee's Playhouse but bathed in like a heavenly light toys?
Any of those? Because like Cowboy whatever is still alive. Lawrence Fishburne is still alive. Like, hey, heck, if you wanted to do like anybody from Big Adventure that passed away, you wanted Large Marge, you know what I mean? That's fine with that. But I do think that this should now be a Discord thing, especially when a wrestler passes away. You don't have to do the Pee Wee Herman one. Just stick to the wrestling one for Joe and his sanity.
Yeah. And for my sanity, we're going to wrap this up. Yep. Patreon.com/LongboxHeroes. We're going to be recording August 93 for Previewing the Past this week. I'm excited.
I am too. I'm worried that there's something missing from this one, Joe.
You're worried that there's something missing?
One of the staples that we've been doing the past couple of months, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay, we got a lot of off-air conversations with
we do.
And of course, that's the $5 and up folks. That's the folks that are getting the, After Dark here early, so you can listen to everything in the correct listening order. But no matter what patronage you're at, you can still get the shows. You can still get the 2 bonus shows a month. You can still get the previews catalogs. Everybody will be getting Jonah Hex. This week are, comic book oddities talking about that movie. Mm-hmm. And I think we try to redeem it for all of its warts,
Yep. I mean, Lila is a big part of that movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. 1.5 thumbs up I give Lila. How about that?
Yeah, right.
All right. So, hey, everyone, thank you very much for listening. As mentioned, this was 455 of Longbox Heroes After Dark. And we'll see you next week.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.